Batman has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. Born in the year of the Batman, 1989, Burton's Bat reigned supreme at the box office, nabbing the highest grossing movie of the year spot. Adam West's Batman series remained in syndication throughout much of my childhood, and Batman the Animated Series was the seminal adaptation of the Bat that would go on to define my love for this character. In the spirit of that, I'm going to take a look back at Tim Burton's original Batman film, and I wanted to point out some of my thoughts and experiences I had throughout rewatching the flick. Sound good? Alright. You wanna get nuts? Let's get nuts. Right off the bat, we get that instantly recognizable Batman theme by Danny Elfman, who subsequently has gone on to score this year's Justice League. Here's hoping he'll sprinkle some of that Magic Ivy spores onto Junkie XL's Batfleck theme. These films have gone on to show how well this character can lend itself to inspiring, epic, sweeping, and soulful film scores. And then there was Prince. Now, I recognize the talent of the late legend that may or may not have been known as Prince at some point in his career, but every time I go back to this movie, this is one of the more random elements that I've had to swallow. I guess Jack's a fan, but here's hoping that Jared Leto won't be walking around with a boombox blasting Lady Gaga all next whatever DC flick they plug him into. I don't know, the music just doesn't really fit the tone of the movie. It's catchy, but it takes you out at points. It's kind of funny seeing the actor playing the title character of the film, Batman, Michael Keaton, credited after Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson being a bigger star, was credited over, all that jazz, blah, blah, blah. He's paid way more as well to play the Joker. And speaking of weird billing, I've had this poster for years with the same billing order as the movie, but Kim Basinger's name is in a box for some reason. Was she just like, if I can't be first or second billing, just put a box around it? And I guess they did that. Ooh, that shot is unfortunate. Now I want to go on record. This movie has some incredible special effects. It came out nearly 30 years ago, and the artistry and care for detail is clear, utilizing matte paintings, green screen, and even miniature techniques to great effect. And even stuff like the miniature techniques were even carried on to the Nolan era of films, showing that these practices are timeless in filmmaking. And then there's this. As I said, unfortunate. Not deal breakers, but moments that take you out of the fantasy when so many other similar elements are leagues ahead and done way better in this film. I always loved seeing Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, but bummed we never got to see what he would have brought as Two-Face. It's just sad seeing a bit of squandered casting. At least he wasn't strung along through 3 effing movies, only to still not to get to become the villain that he was supposed to be. I'm looking at you, Dylan Baker. I'm supposed to be the Lizard. How the hell does Knox not know what Bruce Wayne looks like, or even the backstory about his parents? Look, I get it, this is Batman's origins being told for the first time cinematically, but you want to string it out and leave it as a mystery for characters to discover along with the audience about what happened in Bruce's past. But how does no one at the newspaper know what happened to him and his parents? How does Knox not know anything about him? Despite never noticing in some previous viewings when I was younger, Keaton's lack of ability to move his head while wearing the suit and cowl was very apparent. It would suck having to constantly full body turn just to look around. I don't know how Batman can really operate effectively this way, but he sells it well enough that I never even noticed the first multiple viewings of this film. Gotham is so well portrayed and realized by Burton, it lives and breathes filthy Art Deco and crime. There isn't one shot without billowing tufts of steam and smoke coming from chimneys or sewer grates. Gotham feels dirty, corrupt, and dangerous. Similarly, a lot of the film is harshly lit, creating sharp highlights and dark shadows everywhere. It's dark, but lit stylistically as opposed to going for the more realistic lighting that the Nolan trilogy later sported, but also a bit more pulled back from the Schumacher flicks in the years to come. It's reserved but bold when it needs to be and really accents the film well. Now this scene was kind of funny to me. The joke being it's awkward that Vicky and Bruce are sitting so far away from each other at this large dining room table. They then seemingly simultaneously realize how ridiculous this is, and Bruce sweeps Vicky off to the more humble log cabin side of the mansion. Now, if you're Bruce, this had to be part of the plan all along, right? He couldn't have possibly actually thought that this was a good idea. So, smooth move, Bruce? Smooth move. The reveal of Jack seeing himself for the first time is so effectively done. The acting and the way the scene is presented is truly spooky. Jack is insane, and that's what's allowed Nicholson's take on the Joker to endure along with Heath Ledger's clown prince of crime. And Jack certainly puts the prince part up front. When talking about Nicholson's incredible turn as Joker, it's hard not to equally gush over Keaton as both Bruce Wayne and Batman. Keaton brings an affable, tortured, and calculating Bruce Wayne to the table, and a stealthy, badass Batman as well. Much like the opening scene of BVS with Bruce running into the cloud of dust and smoke to save who he could, here we see when Joker's men open fire on a crowd, everybody goes down, but Bruce stays standing. He's at that moment shocked to see Jack is still alive and obviously very different, but he's unfazed by all the sheer chaos unfolding around him. Michael Keaton is Batman. He perfectly displays all the qualities and vulnerabilities of the hero, and should definitely be commended for putting his stamp on the Caped Crusader. This line,
"This town needs an enema."
This may be the first time in a viewing that I've ever actually understood this line. it's incredible. Now, Batman's a bit of an asshole here, causing a car of Joker's goons to crash into innocent drivers and sparks like a 10-car pileup with police nearly crashing as well. To save himself and Vicky in this situation sure is endangering a lot of people. Much like the people of Gotham, or maybe just newspaper reporters, Joker never really seems to remember/recognize Bruce. He meets him multiple times in the movie, and each time it's like it's the first time. Either that or the Joker's just like, geez, this guy again? I'm gonna give him an enema. Can that be Joker's catchphrase now, please? Oh yeah, then there's this scene.
There is something else you have that I want.
What?
Is that meant to be that creepy? The next thing we see is Vicky coming to in her apartment. I'm left going, while she's just like, darn, he took my film. Are you sure that's all he took? Speaking of questionable actions, Batman eventually decides to go straight to Joker's lair and kill him and all of his henchmen by blowing up his hideout rather than literally doing anything else. I get it, the Joker killed Bruce's parents and has killed/threatened the people of Gotham, but you don't even know if there's any innocent people in there. He didn't even know that the Joker wasn't there. I still love you, Batman, even though you just tripped over a bunch of pews and alerted the Joker to your location, but okay. Rounding off, it was a fun run to revisit this movie and kind of jot down my experiences and little things I noticed throughout the film. At this point, we've seen so many different adaptations of Batman that it's easy to appreciate when it's done right, and particularly when that adaptation serves to inspire others. Batman is in our cultural DNA. We know his story, and it's up to new and exciting voices to continue on these adventures of the Caped Crusader for future generations. Thanks to its enduring legacy and this film's contribution, Batman is one of the most recognizable characters around the world.